Wonderful time of the year.
Oh, yeah, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. It is the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm not talking about Christmas, although I'm pretty sure when that song was written, it wasn't written to talk about the AVN Porn Awards, but it is Porn Week in Vegas. To me, it's the best time of the year, right? It's a lot of fun. You got all these hot porn stars in town. It's fun. It's a good time, and I'm sure some of the older conservative listeners of the station would certainly agree with me on that one. But anyway, we have a very special guest in studio, and as I mentioned, JD, you might want to put your microphone on, by the way, because we can't hear you. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I said they would behind closed doors, and my mic is actually on.
Okay, now it's on. Thank you. So I would say that, and maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't speak for all the 80-year-old conservatives that are listening. I don't actually. But maybe Donald Trump would probably agree with you on that one. But it is the AVN Awards, and it is the Oscars for the adult entertainment industry. And the woman we have with us in studio right now, she is a friend of the show. She is actually nominated for one of these awards. She is up for the Hottest MILF Award, and her name is Alura Jensen. She has a very large following.
Yes.
Alura, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I am great. You guys are so much fun. Thank you for bringing me back.
I appreciate it. So Hottest MILF Award. Who do you get how do you know if you're like nominated for an award? Who do you get a phone call from? Is it like your agent or like, how does this work?
It depends on who sees the list first. When the list comes out, it usually comes to us via email, and if the agent sees it first, or if they publish it on their website before they send the notification to all the agents. I happened to discover this by accident. I never thought, because last year I won BBW of the year, which was a bit of a surprise because most didn't consider me to be a BBW. And this year they decided to put me in the MILF category, which is far more appropriate, I think.
How old do you have to be considered a MILF?
Oh, well, that's kind of muddled now these days. You don't even have to be a real mom that somebody would like to fondle.
So I wouldn't consider you a big woman, so I'm kind of surprised. I mean, there are certain parts of your body that are larger than others.
Yeah,
I'll leave that
true.
one alone. But I wouldn't consider you a BBW.
Very
that's
wise observation, Brian.
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it, JD? Would you consider her that?
No, I would not.
Right.
No,
So we agree.
I did lose
a little
65
perplexing.
pounds since last year.
Okay.
So that was a bit of a change, because after I got the BBW award, I didn't want to be mistaken.
Quick side note on that. You might find this funny.
Okay.
I was a BBW celebrity judge at a local strip club.
Really?
Several years. Actually, I think you were there.
I was probably there too.
And there was a moment where they had Popeye's chicken at this. I don't know if you remember this moment.
I do.
They had Popeye's chicken at this local strip club, and one of the BBWs that we were judging took. My friend had some chicken in his hand, and she takes the drum of chicken out of his hand and takes a bite out of it, and then gives it back to him. Yeah.
Wow.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, that was a side.
That's very powerful to me.
Yes.
What was the club, by the way?
I'm not gonna say which club it was, because I'm not gonna give them free advertising, because they don't give me anything for free.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
There is the BBW Awards is actually tonight, and I am sponsoring the winner of the BBW strip contest tonight.
nice.
Yeah, that's going to be tonight.
Where is this going to be at?
This is going to be
Let's
at
give it a
Hustlers.
free plug. Okay.
Hustlers.
I like Hustlers because it's. I used to go there for the Monday night football parties because I went for the free food and drinks. But it's a nice place. And I actually did meet Larry Flint several years back, and he is the
Whoa.
coolest guy in the world.
No
by the way,
kidding.
he is just the coolest mother effer in the world. Okay, I'll leave it at that. He is just so cool. Anyway, so if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Alura Jensen. The AVN Awards and the AVN Expo in town starts tomorrow, by the way. At least the Expo does, and then the award show is over the weekend, of course. It's Saturday, right?
It's on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday night at the Hard Rock, correct?
Yes, the red carpet starts at 4:30, so get there early, because you never know. They mix it up what stars go at what time.
I would imagine you see some pretty crazy things go down this week right? I mean, the parties, like, can you give me a story of like one of the crazy parties you went to? Just something that maybe some of your fans or I mean, I would imagine you've been to some crazy ones, right?
Oh my God. Oh, where do we even start with that? Let's
like,
just...
is Ron Jeremy doing lines of cocaine off of strippers? Like, what's going on?
That sounds tame, actually.
A little bit.
He's friends with Ron. JD's friends with Ron Jeremy, but they're boys, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go, because I know this is radio and you guys have rules about what I can and can't say.
Sadly, we do, thanks to the FCC. Yes, sadly.
Well, there were two women before the awards show actually started last year that they couldn't wait to commit their physical love with one another, and they decided to make that happen in the ladies' restroom in the stall. no care for the world given
At the
about
Hard
you.
Rock?
Yes.
Sounds very romantic.
So they were having
Yeah.
sex
Oh, you can
with
say
each
that.
other. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
They were performing sexual deeds
Yes.
in the stall of a restroom in the
Yeah.
Hard Rock right before the award show.
No care in the world who heard them. Just knees on the floor. I was just like, really, girl? Damn.
Wow.
You know, speaking of the Hard Rock.
Wait, you don't want to ask her more questions
so
about
just-
that story?
It's just
You're
something
just moving on now?
I'm
You
not-
don't
I'm
find
not-
that
I'm not-
stimulating?
I'm not moving on, Brian. But
Sidebar.
the Hard Rock is being sold to Richard Branson and Virgin. So are the AVN Awards going to be held at the Virgin Hotel next year? How's that going to work out? That sounds like a very, very ironic, borderline oxymoronic situation.
What I was told last year was that AVN was going to be moved this year, and it actually happened to be at the same place that it's always been, at the Hard Rock. Now next year, now I'm not going to get into conjecture and rumor, but yeah, I've heard it's not going to be there next year.
So I started covering the awards when it was at Mandalay Bay.
Ooh.
I also covered the awards when it was at the Palms. I think the Hard Rock is a pretty good venue to have it because it's
Yeah.
more of a younger crowd, younger group.
I agree.
Like you wouldn't have the AVN Awards at the Westgate because the average age of a cocktail server there is 75.
Right.
So
Right.
you wouldn't, there's certain, you wouldn't have it at Circus either. I mean, you wouldn't want kids. Actually, that would be kind of
Well,
funny.
you
though.
could.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they had the AVN Awards and you had a bunch of clowns juggling balls and then you had a bunch of male porn stars juggling their balls? I mean, it would be an interesting, but it wouldn't be good because you don't want kids around this sort of stuff. I'll tell you something. When I was 10 or 11 years old, I wouldn't mind looking at some porn stars. I wouldn't have minded it. I
Right.
minded it at all. And my parents probably would have let me do it too.
Did you have dirty magazines at 10 or 11?
Yes,
You
I did.
did?
Yes,
Which
I
ones?
did. I went through puberty. Listen, you brought this up, not me. I went through puberty at an abnormally young age. Okay, so believe it or not, I did the tasteful stuff. I did Playboy.
It's really glamorous. That's where,
I was a very glamorous young man. It's all gone downhill from
And
there.
it's borderline educational. There's some stories.
No, I didn't read the articles. Although we do have an author, Amy Vanderpool, comes on our show all the time, and she
does.
writes for Playboy. Here's what I did like about Playboy, and I
Okay.
still like it today.
What?
It's more tasteful. Am I wrong? Okay, this is my opinion.
Sure.
I don't find it extremely attractive when it's just a picture of a girl of a woman with her legs spread wide open.
Oh my.
That doesn't really do it for me. I like the more tasteful pictures, and I feel like Playboy captures that. Am I wrong in thinking that?
I really think it depends on a person's view of women.
Yes.
Guys who hold women up on a pedestal tend to like to see them more glamorized and in more beautiful situations, whereas guys who are just in it to win it, they like the more graphic, the less dignified.
Like sometimes I find a woman when she's in a bikini,
Yeah.
sometimes, not all the time, is more attractive than seeing a woman completely naked.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time.
I've
right?
heard that a lot.
Yeah, I feel like if that's the case, then it's because you like to be challenged a little bit, and when a woman is just spread eagle like that, it's not very challenging. So when a woman throws herself at you in person, how do you handle that?
How are you supposed to hunt?
I usually run away, actually.
Right.
When women get close to me, I usually run away. It's because I have a lot of issues.
So
Laura. That's the problem.
you prefer
Everyone
to
does.
initiate to be the aggressor in the situation.
Yes, that is
I
true.
agree.
That's
I totally
fair.
agree.
No, I appreciate my co-host now just psychoanalyzing me, but he's actually probably right. That's the thing. Okay, Alura, let's get down to business here.
Yes.
So, if you had to do a sex scene with somebody,
Yeah.
would it be Osama bin Laden or Adolf Hitler? Which person would you choose?
I'd make them both my bitch.
Do you find them? Would you have found them attractive in any way, shape, or form?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a
Face
man?
down, ass up, ready to take it.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Is there a man in the industry? Are there people? I don't want you to call people out unless you want to. You're more than welcome
I
to.
might.
Are there
He actually
men?
does. He does want you to.
Are there
I know
men?
he
Well, I
does.
don't want to put her
But
in
he
a
doesn't want you
peculiar
to feel like
position.
you have to.
Because whether you do a sex scene with Adolf Hitler or Osama bin Laden certainly doesn't put you in a particular weird situation. But
I'm
no,
listening.
are there men in the industry that you refuse to work with, or women that you just will not do a sex scene with?
I give everybody a chance at least once.
Okay, so after once, there are people that you will not work with. Can
They
you give me
have-
reasons why?
They, one of the big things, and it has zero to do with appearance or body type, because I work with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
If the person is disrespectful to me or does
Have you
not,
had that happen before?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
you
what are
can-
they? But I know you can't swear on the air or be too graphic, but give me an
Right.
example. Like an actor that is disrespecting you.
Very much, yeah. The guys, they get into a mindset. It's almost like method acting. When they get onto set, they have to provide the idea of an entertainment they think they need to be doing. And in order to do that, they have to get into character. And sometimes these characters that are scripted are mean, hostile, violent, or, just generally aggressive because that's what the story calls for. Well, when the camera stops rolling, sometimes these method actors, if you will, forget that, hey, the chick on the other side of this equation is a human being, and she might not like being treated like you just picked her up at Walmart,
Of course, yeah.
take it easy, buddy.
Of course. I like how you brought Walmart in there. I like
Thank
that.
you so
in the
much.
gun
Thank you.
section.
Well, that's interesting. So can you give me the range of how much money you can make moving forward if you win one of these awards? Because as you know, in the Oscars, if an actor or an actress wins an Oscar, boy, they're making a lot more money that next movie.
Yeah.
So can you give me the range of what this means for not necessarily just you, but for any of these adult entertainers that win these awards?
Well, I mean, they definitely are able to ask for more money. I know a lot of them go from making, say, $1,000 for an assignment to anywhere up to $3,000. So they can bump it up as much as they think companies will give them. There's a downside to that, though, because producers, directors, they all have budgets. And if they want this big name, but she's charging too much to do the job, then they'll go with somebody a little less known who they can afford. So there's a yin yang to that.
So what are some of the more controversial things that you think will go on this week at the AVN Awards? Maybe something different than occurred last year. I remember last year when our friend Michael Avenatti, who's sadly now behind bars, he walked the red carpet with Stormy Daniels last year. And I thought that was the story of the, I mean, there were a lot of stories, but that was pretty cool to see him walking the red carpet with Stormy Daniels. That was kind of cool.
Really?
What do you think, what do you expect this year? Maybe with some newcomers, or what do you expect going on this year with everything that's happening in the world? Do you think anything crazy is going to happen, and what do you expect?
I suspect that because there will be a far wider variety of performers on the red carpet this year, that you're going to see a lot of them who don't understand what the red carpet is for. And a lot of them like to act as if they're preluding a scene with one another for the sake of the cameras. And
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you think a lot of sexual acts will actually take
Yes.
place on the red
or
carpet
they're
this
going to
year?
try.
They could get arrested for that.
They
though.
can. And believe it or not, the Hard Rock actually has the Metropolitan Police Department outside surveying our ensembles, our dresses, our gowns.
So you can't show nip.
No,
we
none.
all know that.
No nudity
So you could just
whatsoever.
put pasty things over it, and then you're fine, right? Because I saw a woman with JD walking the red carpet last year, and it was the skimpy. I mean, she looked naked, but she had some stuff covering a couple specific
And
areas.
she was reporting, I believe, for Naked TV.
Yeah, but
That's
I
pretty
also,
cool, though.
you're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
a reporter, but I'm actually talking about there were some porn
Some,
stars
yeah.
that were wearing some
okay.
outfits that were unbelievably revealing. I think you have to expect that with the AVN Awards, and I think the police need to listen. I'm not saying there should be sexual acts in public,
Right.
and I'm also not saying, but they're also they're not at Chuck E. Cheese either. Okay, you're in a casino.
Yeah.
It's 21 and over to gamble.
Right.
There's alcohol everywhere. Probably a lot of drugs everywhere too.
I wouldn't know anything
and I think
personally
you have,
about that.
So explain this to me. How difficult is it to be nominated for one of these awards?
Very.
Explain why.
It's very. Well, if you go on, again, can I say what website? I don't know if I'm allowed to
Go
say
ahead.
stuff. There are all the tube sites, and you look at a porn star rank, and then you see how many porn stars are registered. Out of all those porn stars that are listed on the tube sites, there are more porn stars who aren't even on that list. All of those women are being considered for, the most notable performances or ideas or productions. And to make a short list of people in any category that's nominated, that's a big deal. It's a big, big deal for performers. Some work their entire careers and never get one nomination, not one mention. And they don't understand. And then some get nominated over and over and over again. And you're like, what the
That
hell?
sounds like Tom Cruise.
And to give the listeners an idea of just how giant this industry is, sex.com is the highest selling domain in history. I think it's sold for $100 million.
Yeah.
So, we've had plenty of adult film stars like yourself in studio. I recall having Evan Stone and Katie Morgan in studio.
I love them.
Not too long ago, and I know they live here in Vegas, actually not too far from the radio station. And I asked Evan Stone because he's such a
He's a
honest
trip.
guy, right? Oh, he's so hilarious. I love Evan. So I asked him. I said, "Listen, I know you're a straight man, right? You love women, but if a gay man went up to you and offered you an enormous amount of money for sex, would you do it?" And he gave me an immediate answer. He said, "Yes, He said if the price is right, we can work something out.
Right.
In the porn industry, do you feel like a lot of men and women would give that type of answer? I know you don't speak for everybody.
I get the impression that because what we do is separate from our personal preferences. We all have home lives, but when we go to work, it's work. And if there's money involved, we know some people might be more comfortable doing just about anything.
You understand the average person when they say, and by the way, I agree with you, it is work, and it's not easy to do what you do in front of all these cameras and everything. It is work. But I asked you this. Do you think, when you talk to an average person on the street and you say, hey, listen, what I do is work, do you get a lot of people that say, come on, you're having sex. That's not work.
People have no idea what you actually see.
Give me your,
what people actually see is only about 10% of what we have to do in order to make something possible to watch.
Right.
There are weeks, sometimes months of preparation that go into planning a production on everybody's part. I mean, from the directors, the producers, makeup artists, all of these things require preparation, and sometimes purchases need to be made or locations need to be rented. And then lines, I mean, this is a job. You wouldn't show up to work at a lawyer's office and not have a pencil when you need to be writing stuff down, right?
Well, it wouldn't work for me because my pencil's certainly not big enough, and I would be forced. I would be forced to actually take a shower too.
You didn't mean to do that, Alura, but you just set him up. You just teed one up for him, and he took advantage of it.
Yeah, I would be forced to actually take a shower and take care of my appearance.
But I mean, how difficult is it? You mentioned that you try to work with, you don't really discriminate. You work with anybody.
I do.
But when you're not attracted to somebody, how do you mentally convince yourself to make it work?
Sure.
Because do you have to have like a glass half full approach where you kind of find something about them attractive, or how do you convince yourself to want to do a scene with someone?
It depends on why I don't find them attractive. If somebody is physically unappealing because of personal hygiene or something, because that does happen on occasion, let me tell you. Or if it's their attitude, it depends on how I handle the scene. If it's just a cleanliness or an aromatic situation, then, I might ask if I can put some perfume on, and I would put some on under my nose or on my lip or something so I can't smell them as much. Or if the person has a bad attitude, I immediately go into domination mode, and that makes me feel better.
So you're going to be at the expo tomorrow, signing autographs and taking pictures with fans. So tell me a little, is it weird or is it cool for you, when somebody goes up to you and meet one of your fans, and let's just say a man goes up to you and says, I've pleasured myself to you thousands of times. Like, how do you react to that?
I totally expect it, because if they don't pleasure themselves thousands of times, what am I doing?
But I'm speechless because I'm trying to think how no woman would ever do that looking at me, or man for that matter. But I'm just trying to figure out how I would, or JD, you would react if a woman went up to you and said, I'm a big fan of yours. I listen to your radio voice every day and I pleasure myself to you. I don't know how I would react to that. It is a compliment, obviously, but what do you say to them? If a man goes up to you at this expo, I would imagine this is going to happen over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
But you'll have fans go up to you and say, God, I love this part of your body, or I pleasure myself to you, and I think about you when I'm with my wife. Like I would imagine this happens to you on a regular basis.
All the time.
So what do you say to them when something like that happens?
Just wait and see what I come up with next.
But that does happen on a regular basis,
all the
right?
time, everywhere
Keep
I
them
go.
interested.
Gosh, that is incredible. Yeah. I would imagine you also have married couples that want to maybe perhaps have a threesome with you and stuff like that. So have you ever said yes to any of them, and have you ever worked something like that out? And I'm not even saying if they offered you a financial. Have you ever given them a freebie, so to speak?
Lots.
Really?
Lots, yes.
And
I love women.
Are you still talking to these people? Have you made friendships with these people because of it?
No, I'm a hit it and quit it girl.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're saying you'll have sex with somebody
just for fun.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
And you never talk to them again. So what if they text you or call you and they a week or two later and you're done just one time?
Do you block their number?
Wow.
No, I don't want somebody's number. If we hook up, get away from me after we're done.
Well, listen, I know that our producer Stein,
I can appreciate the candor.
Our producer certainly wants to at the very least make out with you. But I'm going to advise
He's
him.
hot, though.
I'm going to advise him. Well, I'm not going to talk about that because I'm going to vomit. But I will. I don't want you to do that with him, because then you're telling me you're not going to come on our show again.
Oh, I'll do it just for the sport.
Oh, shoot. All right, Stein, I guess you still have a chance. Sadly, you still have a chance. Yeah.
So Twitter has changed their rules.
Yes. Yes.
And they've added stars onto nipples and other parts of the body. I would imagine that's considering some of the content that you posted prior to this happening, that it's affected your business in a negative way. Tell me about that, and what are your thoughts on it all?
Well, it hasn't affected my business in a negative way. I have a management team that is really fantastic, and I've been prepared for this transition for about 2 years. It started first with bodily fluids were prohibited. And I said, okay, cool.
Reasonable.
So then just nudity. Well, then hardcore shots, no longer allowed. Okay, cool. No problem. So even solo nudes now are getting accounts suspended and deleted. It's almost as bad as Instagram. So screw it. All right, F you guys. I'll just sell it then.
Isn't it funny?
So do you have like an OnlyFans.com? Do you use that as well? And is that working out well for you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my OnlyFans is pretty badass. Like,
if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Alura Jensen. She is a adult film entertainer, adult film star. The reason why we're talking to her, well, we'll have her in any time, but it happens to be AVN Awards Week in Vegas. The AVN Expo starts tomorrow at the Hard Rock. You could also catch her at OC Modeling, and she is up for Hottest MILF Award.
Yes.
Okay, so if you win the award, and we hope you do, by the way, we're rooting for you. If you do, can you give us a preview of what your acceptance speech will be like right here on the Vegas Take?
I'd be happy to.
Okay, I'm the announcer.
Okay.
Let's pretend I'm Evan Stone or whoever is going to be reading that little card. The winner for the 2020 Hottest MILF Award goes to Alura Jensen. Alura, congratulations. Congratulations. Alura, congratulations. Here's your award.
I would be crying like an uncontrollable baby. I would. And then through tears, messing up 2 hours of hair and makeup. The first thing I would do would be to thank OC Modeling, because I've been with them for almost 9 years now. And they have stood by me literally through thicker figure and thinner figure. They've
literally, thick and thin.
They've taught me so much about how to do this job and how to excel. And then I would thank Pornstar Platinum, who was my first, website network. They've also stuck with me through thick and thin. And then, of course, my husband, my family, and friends.
That's incredible that you have your husband is not in the business, or he is?
No, not whatsoever.
Okay, so that is incredible to me, because if you are a jealous man, which clearly your husband is not.
Not whatsoever.
There's no way you could be married to a porn star. It's impossible.
I just, when the camera goes off, I want to have as normal of a life as possible. So I protect my home life very much, which is why I don't talk about them on social media, because I keep my home life.
And you have kids?
I do. They're grown.
How many kids?
3.
How old?
25, 22, and 20.
And they know what their mother does for a living.
They all know.
They have no problem with it.
They think it's cool as hell.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Because, I'm just thinking, if my mother was a porn star, which she's not, I would not want to see any of her videos or pictures.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke around the house, because whenever my married kids actually go looking for entertainment, then they happen to scroll across an image of a preview of their moms, and they laugh like hell. They think it's hilarious.
That's great. It sounds like you have a great family.
I do.
I'm happy to hear that, because I'm sure not every family of an adult film star would react the same way your family does. So obviously you're doing something right.
Well, I raised them to not be ashamed of sex or of sexuality.
And nobody should, by the way.
Right.
And nobody should. And I wish we lived in a world where everybody felt that way. Okay, we only got about 30 seconds left here. I want to give you a chance to plug. I better be careful when I use that word, but I want to give you a chance to plug anything you need to and want to before you make your appearance at the expo. Tell people quickly where you're going to be tomorrow.
I'm going to be at OC Modeling. It's going to be in the Joint, and I really hope everybody comes out to see me. And also on my website, if I may.
Sure.
OnlyFans /Alura Jensen 2011.
Gosh, I love it. I love it. Everybody check it out. Well, you're very beautiful. We hope that you win this award. You certainly deserve it, and I appreciate your perspective on everything involved with this business. And I can tell you right now, I will be there tomorrow right after the show.
That's so
So
great.
I'll be signing autographs as well, and I'll be taking pictures with all the women that want to take pictures with me, and men as well. But
there you go.
Yes. Well, Alura, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate
Thank you, guys.
You bet.
Yeah,
all
thanks
right.
a lot, Alura.
We are going to take a 21-hour break. We'll be back at it tomorrow, folks, and we will be covering Donald Trump. Don't worry. We'll be back tomorrow, folks. Sean Hannity next.